Hey, what's going on, everyone? How's everybody's New Year's going so far? I hope good, because mine's going good so far. Of course, nothing really happened yet. But besides other than that, the reason why I'm making this video for New Year's is because I want to try to at least do a little bit more vlogging. Even though that they probably won't be catching as anyone else. This is just me, like I said in the past, and I'll keep saying it until I do get better and get better views. What brings me here to this day's vlog is this. Every time you get online, you watch news on television, newspapers, internet access to news like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all you hear is the border wall. Besides, other than the weather and somebody being sexual assault, murder, drug driving, blah blah blah. But my main topic is about this border wall. Okay, now I'm not a smart man, and I'm not trying to be smart ass when it comes to saying what I'm about to say is this. Here, and first of all, let me explain something. I don't hate Donald Trump, but I'm not really into it as far as being president. Now, would I have voted for him? Would I know now? Yes, I was still voted for him. Of course, I didn't vote. I don't ever vote. Reason being is a whole nother story. Would I have voted for him? Yes. Well, let me explain why. It's because here's a man who knew how to make billions of dollars. Of course, he spends most of it. But if you got that much money, sure you're going to spend it. It'd be nice to spend that much money. And I figured that he would help at least boost the economy. Now, I don't really follow what he's doing financially here. What I'm more following him as the border wall. Here he is, he's got the government, well, not him by himself. You got the two, uh, uh, Jeff Sessions, I think is the name, and then whatever that other broad's name is. Can't ever remember her name all the time. They're arguing about giving Trump a budget of $5 billion. Now, I'm not going to go into full details about it. There's a point that I'm making to all this. And here I go. Okay, let's say that the government does give him, which they probably won't, because they're going to fight this till the bitter end. And eventually, the government's going to go back to work. Trump is going to be like, I don't want to say act like a titty baby, but he's going to feel like that his image will be hurt because he is known as Mr. Interrupt, Mr. I'm going to talk over you, Mr. I'm the tough. Which, don't get me wrong, we need a president like that. Now, you can argue with me up and down and all that. Yes, I may not be an adult in the 80s, but I still have a brain and I still remember. And I always will believe that Ronald Reagan was one of the best presidents in my lifetime. Now, don't get me wrong, George Bush or George Walker Bush, he was pretty good. But the problem was he was a war president. So he didn't really get to do anything as far as people, because everybody disses everybody, and they dissed him because they started a war. Now I agree that we should have went to war, And again, I don't know what goes on in the politician game. I don't know what kind of classification information that they had. They know Bush decided to do this to go into Iraq and bring down Saddam Hussein, or Saddam, however you say his name. Well, he's no longer here on Earth. He was arrested, convicted, and sentenced to death. Will he be martyrized? In his country, yes. In our country, it was justifiable. Because in a hidden way, and if you really think about it, it was sending out information to Osama bin Laden. You're next. That's what I feel like the reason why Bush decided to do this war. And that's just my opinion. If you have any other opinion, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. But even though I'm getting off the subject, it kind of rolls in to what I'm talking about. Is because at one time, Bush talked about putting border protection. Of course, he never did anything about it because with other politicians coming around saying that, you know, we're in the middle of a war, we're spending money on these new high-tech toys for these military personnel to protect our country. And let me explain. I've said this in the past. My heart and my thought goes out to the family whose loved ones lost. Even though that Chris Kyle didn't die overseas, he did die as a veteran who fought and protected this country so we can continue having our freedom. Now Donald Trump being in the White House, his main focus, sorry to be technical, the main focus there is to make sure our borders are safe. Now here comes the part that I'm making a point out of this. Now, I said it earlier, let's say the government did give them money to build this border wall. Now, think about it. When El Chapo escaped from prison, he didn't go over a wall. He didn't fly in the air. He went underground. So, let's say we put this border wall up. Okay. Let's say they stop doing the underground things. What makes you think that they won't have somebody who knows how to operate a boat and just go around the wall? We could slow them down, but we can't stop them. Now, is it worth having this $5 billion budget wall put up? When it comes to human being, yes. And again, I'm not a politician, and I'm not trying to be a politician. Don't want to be a politician. But if I had control over the budget, I would sit down and say to Donald Trump, is this. You spend all this money on there, we're still going to, let's say it's built up. You can't tell me that they're not sitting around thinking, uh, what is that word? Like a backup. They use the word in Armageddon. Um, it'll come to me later. But anyways, they'll find other ways to get around, to get into the United States. Are you going to try to build a wall over the ocean? Well, two factors will be wrong with that one. We have high storms, it would knock it down. That would waste a lot of money doing that. Now, if you could tell me in your own words, is it worth spending this money for the border wall? Because this, I gave you my opinion. Yes, it will slow them down, but it doesn't mean that it's going to always stop them coming into the United States. Because if they don't go under or try to climb the wall, which they're going to hire more security border cops, whatever they call them, to be able to go across the bridge or walk across it. But who's to say they won't fly over or take the boat around or come up with some other gadget to, you know, we've already smuggled legal aliens, if that's what you want to call it. Nowadays you hear them call them migrants. They ship them from trucks, which they're being strict on these trucking industries and the truckers that actually owner and operator of their own trucks. That you will go to prison if you bring them over here. But who's to say that they won't try someone else? Pay them like an RV or a big bus or something else. Even if they don't ship them over here, they're still going to bring drugs over here because you would always slow down the factor of using drug or bringing drugs into the United States, but you're never going to stop it because they're going to always find an alternative way to bring drugs into the United States. And that's another thing. No, I don't smoke pot, but I may have a face that looks like it's a pot smoker. The last time I ever smoked pot, I was 18 years old. I'm 43 years old. I tried it. It's one of those stories. Been there, done that, didn't like it, moved on. But what about all these people that has medical condition that it needs to use this marijuana? Why can't the federal government sit there and say, look, we'll still make it against the law if you go in and say you have some kind of ailment and they give you the medical card and then you buy so many ounces or pounds and you sell it. Yes, they should still go to jail for trying to sell it to someone else, especially minors. But if you have a condition, instead of buying it illegally, go like the rest of them. Go to these medical doctors. Let them sign off. Let the Food and Drug Administration, the CDC, the Medical Board Association, um, run a test on somebody and see how their mood is. Work with the federal government, like the Drug Enforcement or DEA, Drug Enforcement Officer or agencies or whatever they're called. Legally to a extent. Make sure that they're not doing anything bad with this drug. That they're personally using it for themselves. Because believe me, if somebody tries to tell me, oh, come on, buy some, oh, it's good stuff, I tell you, I've been there, done it, I moved on. But it's fact, I'm sitting here looking, they're actually talking about the Trump meeting cabinet over the closed door meetings of later about the border wall funding. Just happened to want to bring up this topic about that. Again, if you think my opinion sucks, be happy to leave me a comment. I don't care if it's bad comments or good comments, just as long as you feel that your story is better than mine, or you agree with me, or you say, who knows? Be in between. But Trump needs to step back for a moment and say, what's the alternative? And what if these Democrats, whatever they are, says, okay, let's do it. And another thing, whatever happened, like, why don't they have, instead of letting the federal government do it, why don't they work with the states like Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California? Say, okay, we'll give you a tax break. You put your certain amount in, we'll meet with you and you match yours, and we'll build a border wall. Instead of allowing the federal government to spend it all on themselves, because if I was the governor of the state of Texas, I'd have said, look, okay, we have a little extra money. This is how much we have left over. If you'll work with us a tax deal, and we'll meet in the middle, we could build these border walls and hire people from each state. That way they can be employed. That way, even help with health benefits for insurance. If they get hurt on the job, bam, they have insurance. Now, you wonder why I'm agreeing that we should have a border wall, minus the fact that the drug issue is, yes, we keep legal immigrants out of our country so they won't come over here and commit crimes, be locked up in our justice system, and people that who do work pay for them. Because it's bad enough a lone American person who gets locked up, gets mistreated, I can't speak, get treated badly. Let's put it that way. But it seems like they get treated. Yes, they still got treated a little badly, but they get a little bit more because they're not legal documents. Aliens or immigrants, whatever you want to call them. I'm trying to be nice about it, you know. But that's the reason why health care is always going up. Is because we're always helping other countries. And don't get me started on Muslim people. You can say I'm racist for saying this, but you don't hear about it as much as you do now. But a year or two ago, they wanted to take the God word out of our Pledge of Allegiance. They want to tell us that we can't do prayers in the school. Yes, I do agree. If they're atheists or Muslims, we shouldn't force our religion onto them. But you shouldn't take the religions away from us. Because after all, even though in the United States it's about freedom of religion and freedom of expression, and that's the reason why I'm doing this, is because I'm using that right to spread my message, my faith around. And I am a Christian person. I believe in God.